Alright folks, it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm on the last bit of hay. Make sure you're on. Hey! I'm on the last bit of hay that I'm double windrow raking. We're going to take a break here in just 2 seconds when I get around this little bend. I'm going to explain to you my science about what I'm doing here. And what we're talking about here is trying to make dry hay in the month of September, mid-September, up here in the UP of Michigan. Kind of a lot to ask for, normally. I'll explain it to you here in a second. Pretty nice. You can tell this is still green. Even green, it's got a little crisp to it. Now today's Wednesday afternoon. The other two properties that are already done, there's 4 in total. The other two properties that are already done were cut Monday morning. This was cut Monday evening. And this is the last of it. I will not be doing the west half. That was just cut. That was cut on Tuesday. Excuse me, yesterday. That wind. Remember that. We're going to talk about that in 2 seconds. All right. Oh, good time for a break. Almost feeling like a couple of hay friends, but it's still kind of early in the day here. There's rules behind that. All right. Take all your normal doings for making good dry hay during your summer months, and trust me, where we're at right now, this is not a summer month. You can take all those normal rules and throw them straight in the trash can, especially on a mid-September up here. Normal rule of thumb would be, of course, cut one, preferably in the morning. Let it sit that day. Sits the entire next day. The third day, perfect world, you're raking by 11 a.m. and you're baling by 1. No, that's not the way that this is going to work. Now, by rights, according to normal rules, in dry haymaking in the summertime, this would be a baling day right now. No, that can't happen. We lose all that time of sun, cooler temperatures. As you've seen when we were outside, there is no sun today. They were off immensely on forecast. But we got that real nice breeze, and there's no moisture, so it'll be okay. So what I chose to do here and I want you to remember that wind, is I chose to take today and double windrow in it, and I'm making somewhat wider windrows for more area for dry down, accept the breeze, the air airing out and whatnot. I wish the sun was beating down on it, for God's sakes. I chose, as far as I'm concerned, you have two options. This is the third day. In fall haymaking, keep up with me here, I don't rehearse this crap. I could have done one of two things. Today I could have normally single raked everything, which would have been a lot better for aeration, especially sun if it was out. And then tomorrow, before baling hay, which tomorrow is going to be a hay baling day, double windrow it up for a bigger type windrow. It's hard as hell to make a good bale of hay, either a round bale or even a small square in a small windrow. There's not a pile of product here, so it has to be doubled up for a proper bale. Well, that's scenario number one. I chose differently. I'm double windrowing it today, and I'm going to single before baling starts tomorrow at an appropriate hour. I'm going to come back out to all this area that I've covered already today. I'm going to be hitting it with the single rotary rake to flip it yet again and make a nice big, what I'm going to say, tight standard windrow. One of the reason being is I chose this route is because of the wind. This hay, it takes a lot of it to make any kind of weight. All it is real thin, broadleaf, thin stem hay. And there's a lot of you out there that know right now what I'm gunning at, and that is, you get a gust of wind, it'll take this hay bye-bye, gone. I had it happen to me a couple of weeks ago when we had that round of making dry hay. The top of the south hill, south of the farm, there ended up being a little kick of wind in a, I'm going to call it a, what do they call it? I'm going to call it like a hay cyclone. It completely wrecked. You'd have swore, and this was after I raked it, you'd have swore somebody went in there with a tedder. It absolutely destroyed it. So that's one of the big reasons why I chose to double wind rake it today and single these doubles tomorrow, is because it makes a little bit of a bigger windrow. There's more product there. It's just a little heavier so that the wind doesn't destroy these things. That is a major factor with, you know, wind in a light product, which this is. So, yeah, we were supposed to have our sun peak out full force at about 11 o'clock here this morning. It's now 3:15, and that kind of never happened. The fact that there was limited to no morning dew, which is another huge player in the fall, is a huge plus. And there's not supposed to be any tomorrow morning. And tomorrow is supposed to be pure sun. We'll see what happens. So I failed taking in those other two properties. The main one across the highway is going to be reserved completely for the small squares. If I had to be a betting man, which I am not, and I'm not good at this, I'd have to say there was a lot more product there than I thought. You can especially tell after a hay raking. There's easily probably a 500 count of small squares out there, which is fantastic. This, as long as this dries down, and this ridge and this tree line, this place hell. This is all going to get round baled, as I have a collection of round bale orders as well. So we'll see what happens. I'm going to take you on a small little ride. We're going to finish off this little row here, and then things get way too crazy as far as the hydraulics. I'm going to have to shut this off. So I probably murdered that explanation, but I'm hoping somebody caught on to that. This is the New Holland 1022 double windrow rake. very happy with it. Does a very good, clean job. You could probably see right there what some of that wind can do. I don't know if you could see that or not, but it's starting to jostle around this hay a little bit. It's going to be okay though. Yesterday was a different story. Yesterday we had 25 plus, in some cases, mile an hour wind. Now that was a godsend. Because of course all this stuff, all the hay was laying down, and it dried out immensely. This is not a baling day. It's not possible, especially with the no sun. I'm speaking the obvious here, but yeah. I really do not like tripling up on rows, even with a light product. I didn't have a choice there for about 50 feet or so. Yeah. That's about it. Sorry about the shakiness. Yeah, it's just a rake day today. I had to be done here in about 30 minutes or less, which is good because it's sneaking up on chore time. And I have got a bunch of fill and sand being delivered, obviously by way of dump truck. Hopefully not until after 4:30, but it's that time of year to start doctoring up some of the yards, some of the gate entrances, what I'm going to call the yard and landing pad of these silos, and all the business that's going to take place there in a short time to come. And yeah, it's just never-ending upkeep and spending money, but you know, farming, there's millions and millions to be made, even as a small-time operator. So that wasn't even funny. Someday it'll pay. We'll see what happens. Folks, that's about it. May or may not do a cattle tour this evening. It depends if I have some time. That, and I'll show you kind of what I'm up to with this this sand and gravel that's coming in. Just kind of doctor up behind the barn a little bit. So anyway, talk to you sooner than later.